Siemanko, z tej strony Germano z kanału RaczejKonsolowo i wczoraj był Annapurna Interactive Showcase. Zupełnie zapomniałem o tym, że Annapurna, więc jeden z tych takich indie publisherów, czy tam publisherów butikowych, jak to gdzieś tam takie określenie słyszałem, wypuścił swój showcase, swoją prezentację nadchodzących gdzieś tam tytułów. Annapurna jest tak samo, bym powiedział, ciekawym publisherem jak chociażby Devolver. Też mają swój styl, taki bardziej tajemniczy, dziwny, gdzie Devolver jest po prostu punk rockiem przeważnie, bo też wypuścił ostatnio zwiastun gry odnośnie ekologii i ratowania świata, więc może się zmieniają gdzieś tam nastroje w Devolverze. Ale tak, jestem bardzo ciekaw, co Annapurna pokaże. Stray to jest tytuł od nich, który bym powiedział teraz robi furorę. Na półce mam Puffles między innymi od nich, więc trochę tych tytułów, które mnie interesują, od nich się pojawia. Jest to na pewno ciekawy gdzieś tam publisher i jestem ciekaw, co też pokażą w tym showcase'ie, który trwa, z tego co widzę, około pół godzinki. Więc lecimy. Sekunda i go. No tak, Stray. O, Solar Ash, tak? To kolejna gra od nich, która mnie mega interesuje. Route 66 chyba to było, czegoś tak. O, Puffles. O, Outer Worlds to było. Outer Wilds. 12 Minutes. Ach, to ta gra właśnie. Cocoon chyba tak się nazywała. Ale kurde, w sumie mega dużo hitów tutaj z tego co tak widzę. O, właśnie. Neon White, Sayonara Wild Hearts, które ostatnio kupiłem w ogóle w pudełku.
Hello, my name is Kelsey, and welcome to our second annual Annapurna Interactive Showcase. We had the best time sharing all of our latest games and partnerships with you last summer, so this year we're back again to show you what we have in store for 2022 and beyond. Today we'll have about 25 minutes of new reveals, closer looks at games you've seen before, and spotlights on a few developers we are thrilled to be working with. We want to thank our fans and partners all over the world for making this showcase possible. Let's get started.
Pamiętam, że taki showcase z taką mapką z miastami, gdzie powstaje i tak dalej, to chyba było rok temu. No faktycznie.
Thirsty Suitors is an action-adventure RPG about fighting your exes, disappointing your parents, and finding yourself. This is Jala.
She's back in her hometown of Timber Hills after a brutal breakup and has to face everything she left behind. Her immigrant parents' tattered expectations, claustrophobic small-town gossip.
Did you love me, Jala?
And the string of messily broken hearts she left in her wake.
The player shapes Jala's story through narrative choices woven through skating, cooking with her parents, and fantastical turn-based combat with her thirsty ex-suitors. Each suitor battle is a battle with the past, as Jala's confronted with her ex's perspective of a narrative she thought she knew.
Let's look at how combat and narrative work together during the battle with Jala's third-grade boyfriend, Sergio.
Ale to już tyle razy było pokazywane.
Taunts reveal your opponent's weaknesses by putting them in a mood.
My mom says I'm irresistible, and my mom is always right.
So let's hit him with a thirsty taunt.
Now Sergio is in a thirsty mood. His attacks do less damage and have a chance to backfire. When he's in this mood, Jala's
Pomysł ogólnie jest strasznie spokojny. Zrobione mechaniki kombatu z tego flirtu, randkowania jest ciekawe.
Just when Jala thinks she's getting through to Sergio, he pulls her into his inner world, a psychic landscape where he's the man he imagines himself to be in reality.
What the hell? I can't make a dent.
Sergio's ego makes him invulnerable to attack. What's a girl to do?
Like most South Asian men, all it takes to destroy Sergio's ego is a single word from his mom.
Jala summons the next best thing to help her win this
Zabawa stereotypami też i tak dalej. I memami widzę zabawa. O, zajebiste.
Jala hits Sergio with a rage taunt, which brings all of Sergio's buried resentments to the surface. Once this weakness is exposed, we hit him with a rage skill.
The battle ends not with a defeat, but a reconciliation. They've worked through their issues during the battle and can now start again.
I'm sorry I came on so strong, Jala.
As friends, or maybe even something more.
When Jala needs to clear her head, she heads out to the abandoned theme park just outside of town to go skating.
These days it's run by the bear mascot Soundy and his creepy cult of skater punk kids.
Our approach to skating is to make it accessible, not too punishing, but also add enough depth for folks that really want to get into it. The basics are to keep the combo meter going up for high score. Extend the combos on rails, wall runs, manuals, quick turns, and end on a combo finisher for a big score. These are just some of the stories and mechanics packed into Thirsty Suitors. We have so much more to share with our players.
We can't wait for you to join Jala as she confronts her mistakes, makes up
Pomysł na
with her
pewno
exes,
bardzo ciekawy.
reconciles her cultural differences, and becomes
Też fajna jest ta
who was
grafika.
meant to be.
Thirsty Suitors is coming to Steam, PlayStation, Switch, and launching into Game Pass. Experience the game for yourself with a Thirsty Suitors Steam demo. Out now.
It's hard not to think about how time has changed the memory of you. How it will continue to change, to shift, until I'm left with a version I've created in my head. I'm packing things up, clearing out your stuff,
Jakiś point and click.
sorting through memories that twist and turn, depending on the way you look at them. It's hard not to drift into the past.
Podróże w czasie.
To remember everything all at once. Back when you were still here.
Radzenie sobie ze stratą, etc., etc. No to jest cała Annapurna. Hindsight. Bez playki. Ale to są na telefony. Chicago.
Our studio's called Cardboard Computer, and it's just three of us. So my name's Jake Elliott. I'm the writer in this studio, I guess, in the team, and I also do a lot of programming. Tomas and I kind of share programming.
It's like art, writing, sound.
Chciałem powiedzieć, że powinno się pojawić jakieś polskie nazwisko. Kameczny.
I guess I caught Jake in his last year.
We were at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. All three of us were living in Chicago around 2010, I think. Tomas and I wanted to make a video game, and we had a few other ideas before we settled on Kentucky Route Zero.
We brought Ben on for the second act, I think, and that was in the spring of that same year because we were somehow managed to release the second act in a few months.
Słyszałem o Kentucky Route Zero.
It would be
Trochę.
Friday night, and we'd be like, okay, I bet if we worked all night tonight, I bet we could publish this game tomorrow morning. And we were like, okay. We would work all night, and it wouldn't be quite done. We'd be like, okay, but I bet we could do Sunday. I bet if we kept going, you know? And didn't end up being possible, so we had to adjust our expectations a little bit.
7 years, with like another 3 years before that. Learned a lot about our own processes, and I think that's still kind of
7 lat pracowali nad grą?
Project.
Fuck me.
Right after KRZ came out, I think we moved directly into this new game.
Myślę sobie, z 7 lat,
Maybe as old as
ile ja zrobiłem w 7
We're working
lat
on a new
różnych
project.
rzeczy.
It's the first project we're really seriously focusing on performance as like kind of a core part of the piece.
KRZ, it's like very still. There's not a lot of animation. Everything is sort of like these slow, idle tableaus. So we're sort of doing a lot of R&D with making it more lively.
This is a version of like fully animated characters that we can do as a 3-person team, basically. This workflow is already just so exciting.
This time we have a lot more knowledge going into it.
The beginning of Kentucky Route Zero was a more staggered sort of development, and now we've known each other for so long and we're comfortable with each other, and
Wyglądają
I
na
think that
ogarniętych
informs
bardzo
making
ludzi.
the new work in a way that feels substantial and exciting.
The new game, it's about a different tempo. It's faster and hopefully funnier. And
There's comedy in KRZ,
but it's a tragedy.
but it's a tragedy. It's not a tragic comedy though.
No, it's just a tragedy. Yeah.
Yeah, just a tragedy.
I thought I was done with
Pracują
this
głównie
life,
z deweloperami
but
ze
I
Stanów.
suppose that's not my privilege to possess. Some skill sets are a curse. Maybe someday I'll find the peace in that. Sadly, today is not that day.
Mechy. Neonki. Dziki Zachód.
I hope tomorrow is different.
Damn. Tego się nie spodziewałem od Annapurny i wygląda bardzo fajnie. Aha, bo niektóre to są spotlighty na grę, a niektóre na dewelopera, tak jakby.
It was from my dad. He passed away, and that was one of the last things that he left. I came back to it when I was in my early teens. It was just a really sentimental and emotional experience. And when I beat it, I was like, oh man, I really want to make an experience like this for someone else. So I started to make my own game, and I would stream the whole process. And I had a pretty active community on Twitch, and Chris was one of the first people. I was thinking, how am I going to make this game alone? Then one day, he started typing in my chat. He said, do you have a mic? That's how it all got started.
Hey, I'm Chris
Teraz już
Hoffman.
wiecie, jak
I'm the
wejść
programmer
do branży.
at a company that Fabian and I started called Yarn Owl. I work in Austin, and Fabian works in Atlanta. We've been working full time on the project together for a little over a year and never met. Hey, how's it going? Alma, this is Fabian.
First time I'm meeting Alma.
She's very excited about all this.
Very excited. Like, I've talked to Alma as much as I've talked to Chris.
And then, you can hold it again to charge again, and
Cool.
hold it again to charge again.
Yeah, that's awesome.
After work, we both come home and start working on the game. Then at the end of 2020, I shot him a message one day and I said, hey, are we really gonna make this game? He said, yeah. I quit my job that day. And then in 2021, we started Yarn Owl.
I was like, man, he is fully on board. So from that point, I just figured that he would be the best person to work with. He does everything code and I do everything art. We'll just hop in a meeting for like a good hour, but then it ends up being like 3 hours, 4 hours, because we get excited just talking about different ideas. It was definitely emotional. Now all of this is happening and all of this is real. If I didn't get A Link to the Past from my dad or even Wind Waker later from my mom, just getting those games as a kid is what motivates me now to want to make an experience just like that.
Czasem niewiele trzeba do takich ruchów. Mega sprawa. Outer Wilds?
Hey, it's been a little while, and I just wanted to reassure everyone that no,
Ta
you did
ekipa,
not
która
collectively
robi
hallucinate our announcement of Outer Wilds. for
Outer
the
Wilds
Nintendo
jest
Switch.
tak zajebista.
It's possible we were a bit over-optimistic on
Grupa
the time
takich
frame.
geeków
At
i
this point, it's possible we
śmieszków.
just fundamentally misunderstand the Gregorian calendar, but it's still happening, and we're working hard to bring a great version of Outer Wilds to the Switch. Thank you for your patience. We'll have new info for you as soon as possible. With that said, we also have some good news.
Z poprawioną pewnie grafiką, framerate'em, takimi rzeczami. Kurde, boję się tej gry. Nie wiem, im więcej o niej słucham, jak ona jest ciekawa, zbudowana designersko i jak trzeba odkrywać po kawałku te tajemnice tego świata i tak dalej, to nie wiem. Bardziej mnie to odrzuca niż zachęca. O, przestaje być ekskluzywem? Mhm. Oj, na Switchu też, to jest fajne. Subcio. Tą grę podobno łatwo zepsuć. Mhm. No, Maquette startowało w plusie, jeśli chodzi o PlayStation, więc nie dziwię się, że ten... Nie było na PC-tach? O, tak, no. To też kolejna gra, która wychodzi. Choć wydaje mi się, że było to na Xboxie. Może tylko Game Pass jest tutaj nowością. O, mam potwierdzenie, że jednak nie. Krefeld in Deutschland.
For a long time, I didn't even know that I wanted to make games. And I always loved writing stories in school and learning about the mechanics in video games. At some point, I just thought, okay, maybe I can combine those two things.
I'm a computer kid. I like working in these creative programs.
Wiem, że pewnie mało gadania tu jest z mojej strony, jakiejś tam ekscytacji i tak dalej, ale to jest typowy stream, bym powiedział, na poznawanie deweloperów, słuchanie historii i wyłapywanie jakichś ciekawych rzeczy z ich procesu developmentu, czy po prostu procesu myślowego za grami. Ja to uwielbiam, nie? To już, jeśli ktokolwiek nie jest tutaj pierwszy raz, to doskonale to wie, że słuchać deweloperów i o ich procesie tworzenia to jest coś, co uwielbiam robić.
Forever Go is a story-driven road trip adventure game where you play as Alfred, an elderly man who embarks on a journey in his trusty van. The story is inspired by a trip I took down the Pacific coast. Fabian and I were always interested in the diverse landscapes in North America, and that's where a lot of the inspiration came from.
When Kai was about to go on this road trip, he asked me to lend him my camera. After he came back, he shared that book with me, like as a thank you.
And this was actually taken in the middle of nowhere. You can drive for hours on end, and there's just no one. And this was just crazy to see.
Yeah, we have a scene just like this in the game.
Alfred was the first thing we had.
Character model of Alfred didn't always look like this. This is what Alfred used to look like. We started redesigning Alfred and making him a little bit more lifelike.
Alfred's main purpose is to document this trip. Usually the games that stuck most with us are story-driven games.
I'm just excited to see when people actually play this thing in the future. And I hope this will be very soon.
No, coś zupełnie nieznanego, jeśli chodzi o grę. Richard Hogg. Co mi to podpowiada coś? Trochę jak Boxnax. W ogóle Boxnax muszę zagrać. Mam vibe z Bugsnaxa, ale trochę z Hohokuma. I Flower. Mówiłem. Grajcie w to. Grajcie w grę o kolorowych plemnikach. Po pierwsze, muzyka, którą słyszycie, to jest twórca, artysta się nazywa Tycho, czy Tajcho, czy jakkolwiek się go nazywa. Absolutnie cudowna muzyka, którą takie lofi właśnie z bitami połączone, bardzo fajnie się tego słucha. No, Tycho. Truys, tak, to kolejny artysta, którego zacząłem słuchać po tej grze. Graliśmy w to z żoną, poziom po poziomie się zmienialiśmy i świetna zabawa, taka bardzo relaksacyjna, więc tak, grajcie w to. Okej. Znowu wracamy do Europy. Ale też czujecie vibe, nie? Tych gier od Annapurny.
A process. You try and guide it, but you're trying to guide like a gushing river. Often people reach for stories they've already heard. We really want to pull from our own experience as much as possible because it feels the most kind of real. I'm Laura. I'm the director at Dreamfield. This is the Hellfire Club. Way back when Dreamfield started, this is one of the first places we came for like research.
Ireland is full of ruins, and those ruins speak to a history of violence sometimes, a history of change as well.
Dreamfield started as a label for my own work, and then I met Leah.
It was just going to be a few sessions, but it turned into like a full-time week just exploring.
We developed loads of ideas, and one of them became If Found. Suddenly there was a dynamic. We're like playing off each other, and then as more and more people come in, kind of like grows its own identity. I think like creativity is when you bring like one like random idea from here and one random idea from somewhere else and like see how they could join or like what they could do together. And when you have lots of team members, that just happens. It's really important to me that we have the energy and we enjoy it when we come here. So like today, instead of showing computer screens, I wanted to show like Dreamfield is like all of these people coming together. The new game is set
Bardzo
in kind of
kreatywna
like a
taka ekipa.
fantasy version of Ireland. Probably the most obvious first detail is that all the characters are cats.
No tak,
I think
koty.
art-wise we have something very unique. We have themes that I think are very relevant these days about coming together in the face of adversity.
Everything drowned will someday rise from the deep. The eerie message and theme of our game. And lots of cute cats.
The goal is to be creative together and make something that is worthwhile.
Well, I think what's fantastic about Dreamfield is that whether you're working on the music or the art or the programming, you're really invited to like bring your best to the table. Everyone kind of leaves a mark.
Tyle ciekawych ludzi robi gry.
In a lot of ways, I think Dreamfield has become more polished as we've gone
Ciekawe,
on.
o ilu grach w ogóle nie dowiadujemy się, albo nie słyszymy tych historii ekip o tych ludziach, którzy tam stworzyli coś, co nie wiem, spojrzeliśmy przez 5 sekund na kanale PlayStation i rzuciliśmy gdzieś tam w zapomnienie. A ludzie sobie flaki wypróbowali, żeby to gdzieś tam dostarczyć, nie? To też jest to temat do dyskusji, tak? Czy to, że ta branża jest tak dostępna i otwarta i... Jestem ciekaw, ile ludzi to zniszczyło życie. Nie czytałem nigdy tych historii, nie? Znaczy, gdzieś tam przypominam sobie parę, ale niezbyt dużo. No, Dinusie. Przypomina mi tego. Robinsona od Cryteku. Great Ape, to ci od tego? Ape Escape?
Thank you
nie
so
Ape
much for
Escape.
tuning in to our second annual Annapurna Interactive Showcase.
Jak się nazywa ta
We
gra,
hope
w
you
którą
enjoyed it,
się
and we'll see you all again
małpą
next
do
summer.
rytmu uderzało? Hotline Miami, tylko z gorylem. Kojarzę. No dobra, to teraz już jest tylko podkazówka końcowa, więc prawdopodobnie się skończył materiał. Dużo fajnych tytułów, fajne te pokazy deweloperów. To wszystko takie tytuły, które są ciekawe, natomiast dużo jest tutaj historii takich bardzo narracyjnych. Na pewno mechy to jest coś, co zapamiętałem. W sumie muszę powiedzieć, że takie pokazówka na końcu, coś było w całym showcase, jest bardzo pomocna przy takich materiałach, jak nagrywam, bo mogę sobie szybko przypomnieć. Więc zdecydowanie dużo gadania o deweloperach, co lubię. A jeśli takich tytułów, na które bardzo będę uważał i obserwował, to te mechy na Dzikim Zachodzie, to wyglądało bardzo ciekawie. Coś, co jest zupełnie gdzieś tam w moim ogródku. I tyle z materiału. Dzięki za oglądanie. Dajcie znać, czy to was zainteresowało, co wam się pokazało z tego materiału, albo co zjedliście dzisiaj na śniadanie. Trzymajcie się, do następnego materiału. Cześć.